can hear my voice here. Oh, crisp, beautiful. Yo, what is going on, guys? So it seems, according to my Discord at least, that we might have some new content in the game. I have been dying for some new content, so let's just go right into it, man. I really want something hot, something new, something to talk about, because I've been trying to pull topics out of my ass here. So from what I understand, it is the NR Rarity Festival. Yes, so basically common charity. So we're looking at March 23 to April 3rd, so very soon. Time to receive rewards is April 3rd to April 6th. That doesn't really bother me. Whether I get it during or after the event changes really nothing in my life. I am curious though to see if they're going to be as generous as they were with XC's event. XC's event was like super generous with gems, and if we can get something like that again, that would be pretty nice. UR and SR cards aren't the only strong cards. Let's get into the fascinating world of N and R rarity cards. Yep. An event where you can only use N and R cards sounds like a great idea. It's going to be a great way for people to try new decks. Like me, I put so many gems into dinos. But yeah, this is just cool, man. We're going to be able to play some really cool shit, make a ton of decks. Like you can make probably like 3-4 decks easily for N and R rarity. Forbidden and limited. So below is information on the forbidden list. Oh, yo, I'm so happy they did this. I don't know if you guys remember, but for the XC's event, they didn't give us any like information on what kind of list we would get. So I think a lot of people went out and crafted cards that ended up getting banned. Like I remember I did a deck profile and I put in Fossil Dyna for dinos because I figured we could make Granite and search Fossil Dyna, but then they banned Fossil Dyna after, so that was really frustrating. But it seems like now we'll actually be able to do some deck profiles in advance for you guys. Let me know in the comments actually what kind of deck profile you'd like to see for this kind of event. So archetypes that will be limited. True Draco, good. True King, Megalith, Magispector, Generator, Time Lord, Phantasm Spiral Dragon, and Tenyi. Damn, they're really doing that to Time Lord even? You know what? I'm cool with this. I think all these decks are a bit too good for this kind of event, especially like Phantasm Spiral, Generator. It would just like take over the whole event. Cards that burn, so no burn strats. That's good. Appreciate that. Cards that can easily be used to defeat oneself. See, this is what I expected. So they're going to make self-OTK decks less viable, and they're probably going to go back to the amount of medals that we got for the XC's event, which, I mean, fair enough. Like in the XZ's event, because it was so easy for the self-OTK decks, they kind of had to make it a huge compensation. So we ended up getting like 500 medals a duel if we weren't doing self-OTK, which was kind of crazy and made the event last like a couple hours really to get all the, well, most of the gems that you wanted to get from it. So you know what? I want to go check out maybe some deck ideas now that we have this list. Let's go check out some deck ideas to see like what we could play in the event that might be good. Alright, hello again. It took me so long to compile these cards. There is so many decks people are going to be able to play. This doesn't even come close to covering everything, but I wanted to give you guys a list, a little breakdown of, maybe some deck ideas you might have not thought of. I think this format is going to really inspire creativity. Actually, so many decks you can play. So let's just get into it, guys. Let me show you some of the decks here. Alright, so first we have Ignites. As you guys can see, basically all of their monsters are in here. A couple of their spells and traps. I think this deck might be kind of a sleeper hit because they can play Summoner's Art, basically a card that tells you add any scale to your hand. This will be a great way to go into XC's plays and into the limited but still strong pool of link monsters that we have. Red Eyes, I'm not really too sure about this, but Red Eyes does have quite a few cards. Pretty much all their cards except the regular like normal Red Eyes Black Dragon are pretty much at R and N rarity. Might be something to look at. This trap is really good. This card's really good. A board wipe like this might be super strong in this format. We never know. X-Sabers pretty much have their whole toolkit. A ton of X-Saber monsters that you can play. If you really like X-Sabers, this might be the only opportunity you get to play them and have them not be terrible. Earth Machines have a ton of options. You got this card, which is really good. Even if you want to go for the Ancient Gear stuff, might be decent. Arguably, Ancient Gear Golem could be pretty good in this format, just being unaffected on battle phase. This card is going to be really good. Definitely keep an eye out for Earth Machines. Technically, you could play the gadgets. I don't know if that's something you'd want to do, but it's just something to look into if you're interested in that. There's a lot of options in this typing. Even super heavy samurais you could play, I guess. Yeah. I have an Aroma here, and you might be thinking like Aromage, like what is this? Duel Links? Man, you can play Aromas with the Sun Avalon monsters, and that's actually really good. So yeah, you have a Sun Avalon, this card, I'm not even going to try to say the name. You have a lot of options. Let me just write Sun Avalon real quick here. Quite a few Sunvine cards and Sun Avalon cards at your disposal, on top of having a ton of Aroma cards and Aroma, you know, like spells and traps. Another deck to look out for, and I think this might be one of the best decks here, is Phantom Knights. They have like so many good cards at this rarity. Like Fogblade is insane, absolutely insane. For this format, I think you probably want to play your traps that summon level 2s. So with these two, you can summon level 2s. You could go into this monster. The Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin has basically a quick effect negate. This is one of the few quick effect monster negates you'll have access to in the extra deck during the event. Another deck I think is going to be insane for this event, I think this might actually be the best one, is Goki. All their really good monsters are all rares. Just making Destroy Ogre is going to be super powerful in this format, I believe. I honestly think Goki is maybe going to be the best one. Fire Kings, the only reason I put this here is it's more for you Duel Links people. You don't have the boss monsters, but you have the field spell and most of the like main deck monsters for Fire King. So you could technically go Fire King, Yubel, because the whole Yubel lineup is actually on here. So, you know, Duel Links players? No? Yes? Maybe? Sharks actually have a ton of monsters, and Buzzsaw Shark especially is pretty insane to just go into rank 4s and stuff, which there will be some good rank 4s for this event in particular. Maybe not the best ever, but for this event, I think they're going to be very strong. Dogmatica is pretty interesting. I'm not super sure on Dogmatica because they only have like 3 monsters you can play. This one you can play, but I highly doubt you'll actually pull this off, but you could play Nexus if you wanted to. You might actually be able to grind the game enough to a point where you can summon it. But just the fact that you have punishment, access to punishment in a format that's this limited is just going to be insane. So just the fact that punishment is a rare, I think this could be something to build, something to look out for. Seems pretty fun to play, pretty much like the control deck of the format, but we'll see. I put Chaos Grepher here because I think in this format in particular, and this might take you back to like GOAT format or whatever, but I actually think Chaos Emperor Dragon and Chaos Sorcerer and just the Chaos Engine in general might be okay actually for this event. It might not be terrible. I think popping off a Chaos Emperor Dragon, if you're playing a deck with a lot of like graveyard effects, you can just activate this. It's the only effect you can activate that turn when you use this, but you turn the game into like a top decking situation. So if you already had like graveyard set up for next turn, your opponent probably is not OTKing you after you activate Envoy of the End in this kind of format. I might be wrong about this one. Yeah, so I totally glossed over Dino Mist on this list. I highly recommend looking into it. All the monsters are common, and you can probably do some crazy OTKs with Dino Mist, so definitely check it out. Monarchs. Everybody loves Monarchs. Monarchs have a pretty good toolkit here. You might have to play something like as a tribute engine, just having Mobius. You can even make the Mega Monarch, so you'll have like a ton of back row removal. Maybe Monarchs? Maybe? That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Dark World has a ton of tools. I mean, I'd like to say you can play Danger Dark World, but you can just like kind of play it because you have one Danger monster. You have access to Danger Thunderbird. Pretty much all of Dark World cards are in the rare to common slot, so I think it's a pretty good thing to go into. I think you could definitely try that out. World Legacy Worldlands might be a good tech card for any deck basically that makes a Link monster. It's just going to be basically like a Kalut. If a Link monster battles, quick effect, you can discard this card and the opponent's battling monster loses 3000 attack. In a more simplified format like this, with less like crazy boards getting built and stuff like that, I think the pace of the games is going to allow for battle tricks like this to really shine. You've got a ton of kaijus. I don't think you can play a kaiju deck per se, but you know, you might be able to find a way to like play kaijus with some kind of bouncing effects and kind of do like some kaiju control similar to what Snow does. I don't know exactly how you would do it, but you know, it's just an idea, and it's also just to point out that like you're probably going to want to be playing kaijus in this event just as a way to have some really strong removal. Subterror is literally all here almost. The best trap in the game, Subterror Final Battle, is in the rare slot. Most of their monsters, except for Guru, are in rare to common slot, and Fiendus is a common, which is crazy. So I think, you know, Subterrors could be absolutely insane. You might have to play, you know, cards like Des Lakuta that just like flip themselves face down so you can summon them and stuff, but I think this is definitely going to be a pretty threatening deck in this kind of format. Next, this is also going to be one of the best ones. If it's not Phantom Knights that's going to be the best ones, it's going to be Paleozoics in my opinion. You have the full lineup, literally the full lineup of Paleozoic is at your disposal, and you know, you can play a couple frogs if you want to. Obviously you won't have access to Totally Awesome, but definitely just the Paleozoics alone are just going to be insane. They have so much removal, so much control, so much you know, they're so recursive, they keep summoning themselves back. And even at these lower rarities, there's some pretty good, like pretty decent rank 2s. So let's go into some extra deck cards that I think you're gonna have to look out for as well. We have number 96 Dark Mist, as well as Herald of Pure Light and Cat Shark. These are like the rank 2 engine that I think is going to be pretty solid for Paleozoics or Frogs if you want to add that to the list. This card is just recursion from the grave. You detach a material, add a card from the grave to the hand, and return a card from hand into the deck. So just a good way to get some recursion. If you need another Dino Miscus, you could just go get it back and reactivate it, you know? This card is kind of like a beat stick, halves the attack of the monster it's attacking and gains that much attack. So it can get pretty damn big, especially if you're playing Cat Shark, because it keeps the attack permanently. And then with Cat Shark, you can double its attack. So definitely some interesting attacks you can do here. You can really hit hard, I think, with that deck. Also, there's this one, which is basically a monster negate. It's not a quick effect, so it's not that great. And if you want to get really top heavy, technically you could play this also in the Paleozoic deck, as well as these trap cards that make monsters level 2. And if you get one of these materials and a Paleozoic, basically you can make this card and it's going to be a quick effect monster negate, which is going to be pretty insane. I think a mix of Paleozoic and Phantom Knights could actually be super strong for this event. We'll see though. This is going to be one of your basic removal tools, Black Ship of Corn. I mean, it's basically just pop a monster with less attack. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. It also burns for 1,000. So actually, I wonder if Konami's gonna remove this just because it burns for 1,000. Don't craft it yet. Number 91 Thunder Spark Dragon. This card is actually going to be insane. If you can make this with 3 materials and destroy all other face-up monsters on the field, that's just going to be insane. Nice board wipe in a format that's not going to have a lot of those. It's going to be really strong and not that hard to make, you know, just 3 level 4 monsters. I'm sure even with R and N rarity cards, I mean, Ignites can do that, no problem. Easy clap. Dueling Staple, probably going to be good in here too, to be honest. Appliancers, kind of interesting. Not too sure about this one though. Their best monsters are not here. You basically only have these cards in the main deck for it. But I think arguably, if you were to put it like as an kind of engine you have access to on top of another deck, it might be good. They're really easy to use. You have this, which is basically like your monster reborn. So technically you should be able to make a couple Appliancer monsters in a turn. So if you're playing a different deck and you have like empty deck space and you don't know what to do with it, these cards are just like a decent normal summon. You'll be able to make Laundry Dragon, which is actually a very good card. Defender of the Labyrinth, this is just going to be very important for the Ignites, or if you're playing Metal Foes, you're going to be able to, get some arrows so you can special summon from the extra deck twice, not just once per turn. So, very good card and very easy to summon. Like this card is actually kind of underrated, I think. This card might be crazy. This is a creature swap, right? So, I think people will have to be careful about where they're putting their monsters in this format, because Geonator Transverser is probably going to be in every single extra deck, in my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see. Power Code Talker, I think, is just going to be like this staple Link 3 that if you can make it, it's probably very good. And it's just, it's just going to attack big number, do big number. It is what it is. Overall, though, yeah, I think this format is going to be super fun. I think just the fact that people are going to get so creative with their deck building is just going to be so interesting. So I can't wait to see what people come up with, what becomes the top strategies. And yeah, I'm just super excited for the event, super excited to have something new to talk about. Out of these deck ideas, I would like you guys to let me know what you want to see more of, what you would like to see maybe a deck profile on or testing or something like that. Yeah, just let me know your thoughts, and thanks for watching the video. All right, see you next time.